Welcome on back, ladies and gentlemen. ABCA 2024 right here from the Gaylord Texan in wonderful Grapevine, Texas. I'm Robbie Gutierrez, the owner and host of NAIA Ball. As well, joining me is Jake McKinley, the head baseball coach at the University of Nevada. But before that, he's NAIA made, NAIA grown. You were the head coach for a long time at a couple different places. Why don't you tell us about your background?
Yeah, so I was in the NAIA most of my early coaching career. I was at Menlo College for 4 years, and then I was at William Jessup for 1 year. So, I definitely am an NAIA made guy. I played NAIA baseball, was a grad assistant at Campbellsville University. So, a vast majority of my college baseball experience actually has been at that level.
As well as being one of the first podcast guests we've ever had on the show, and probably being one of the only 2 or 3 return podcast guests on the show with us. So definitely happy to have him here. You also have some experience with the Milwaukee Brewers. Why don't you talk about what you did with them and just kind of how that led to your current position?
Yeah, so I started out as one of the pitching coordinators for the Brewers back in 2019 and was with the organization for 4 years. So evolved from pitching coordinator up to vice president of player development, so was overseeing all the player development initiatives for the organization. So it was a really cool job. It was very global in nature, got to touch a lot of different departments and work with a lot of really smart people, which ultimately I think prepared me to do what I get to do today.
So right now, Jake is the head baseball coach at the University of Nevada, entering his second season. I guess, you're not an NAIA program, but give us an outlook for 2024 anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll do Kendall Rogers' job.
Love that out of you. Okay. The first year there was some components of it that were a rebuild, and there were also some things that were really good that I think that we've retained. So I think we're in a great position. I think overall we do a lot of things really well. I think we can pitch. I think we can hit and play defense. How that stuff sustains throughout the course of a year is always left to be determined, but when it comes to just raw talent on the front end, I really, really like where we're at. And I think the talent also exists in the locker room. It exists off the field. We have guys that I think fit just what we're trying to build as a coaching staff. So we're very satisfied with where we're at, just from a team off-field perspective, but also just raw talent. I think we're in really good shape.
One of the things that always comes to mind with you is the ability to innovate, the ability to kind of develop. Where does that come from? How do you really pull that into not just at the Division I level, but across all levels of baseball?
Yeah, I think one of the things that most people would look at as maybe a challenge was a benefit to me. I played for 4 head coaches in 4 years in college. There was just a lot of turnover in my career as a player, and I think a lot of that required me to, rely on some of the creative side. And also as an athlete, I wasn't incredibly athletically gifted, so I think I had to be creative also to create wins for myself as a player. And maybe as a coach, getting into it early, wasn't surrounded with tons of resources early in my coaching career. Again, NAIA, my first 3 years as a coach, and then went back to the NAIA for 5 years. So a lot of those experiences were in situations where your facilities aren't robust, your budgets aren't extremely high, and you can use those things as a crutch as to why you're not good, or you can find creative solutions around those. So, fortunate to have worked along some really great assistant coaches, have talented players, but I think whatever, if it's innovation or creativity. I think it grew out of necessity based on the situation I started in. So to this day, I'm just so grateful that I actually started in the NAIA, because I had so many good opportunities to coach when I was young. I think a lot of times young guys get into it, and it's more about observing and getting their feet wet, which I think is important. But working for Buford Sanders at Campbellsville, I got to coach, and working for Chris Lewis at Bethany, I got to coach right away, and you learn on the fly. And I was coaching college players when I was 21, and I don't think that's a situation that gets afforded to me if I don't start where I start.
I think that's very true, and one of the things is, we continue to support our alumni, whether they're coaches, players in this level, and wherever they go. Jake is one of those guys. Thank you for taking some time out of your day and joining us.
Anytime. Always glad to be here. Love what you guys do for the NAIA too. It's awesome.
Appreciate it.